projects. Well, today, we're going to pull back the curtain on a really powerful tool that's designed to do just that. It's called Gherkin, and you know what? It's a super simple way to get everyone, from project managers to developers, speaking the exact same language. But before we get into all the techie details, let me just ask you a quick question. Can you follow a recipe? If the answer is yes, then believe it or not, you're already halfway to understanding the logic behind Gherkin. Yeah, seriously. To show you what I mean, let's just put software aside for a second and start with something we all know, a simple recipe. Okay, so let's imagine we're baking a cake. We need a really clear set of instructions, right? I mean, we want to make sure we don't end up with a disaster in the oven. We have to know what we start with, what we need to do, and of course, what we should expect at the end. A good recipe would probably look something like this. First, given you have your ingredients, flour, sugar, eggs. That's our starting point, our context. Second, when you do the action, you mix them all up and bake them. And third, then you get the result, a delicious cake. See that? Context, action, outcome. That simple structure, that is the secret sauce. And this quote just hits the nail on the head. Just like a recipe, Gherkin gives you this clear, step-by-step guide that pretty much anyone can follow to see what's supposed to happen. No confusion, just a straight path from start to finish. Alright, so we've seen how this works for a cake. Now let's swap our flour and eggs for software features and really formally define what Gherkin actually is. Okay, so at its heart, Gherkin is all about communication. It's a plain text language that describes how software should behave. And the real genius here is that it's structured enough for computers to understand for automated tests, but it's simple enough for any human on the team to read. It's basically the bridge that connects the business folks with the tech folks. So why even bother with this? Well, because it solves one of the biggest headaches in software development, people just not being on the same page. By creating this single shared language, it just gets rid of all that vague, fuzzy language and requirements. It forces the whole team to focus on what the user actually does. And most importantly, it makes sure everyone is building the right thing from day one. So how does Gherkin get this magic structure? Well, just like our cake recipe, it really just relies on a few key ingredients. In this case, it's 3 core keywords that are the building blocks for every single scenario you'll write. Here it is, the Gherkin cheat sheet. And hey, notice anything familiar? Given sets the scene. That's like having our flour and eggs ready. When describes the main action the user takes. And then checks the outcome. Did we get our take? This whole given, when, then structure, that's the absolute heart of Gherkin. Oh, and you might also see the keywords and or but. Don't let those throw you off. They're just simple connectors. They let you add another given or another when or another then without having to repeat the keyword over and over. It just keeps your scenarios looking clean and super readable. Alright, that's enough theory. Let's see how this all comes together in a real-world software example. So we're leaving the kitchen behind and we're heading to a user login screen. Okay, check this out. On the left, you see the Gherkin scenario. It's precise, it follows our given, when, then format. Then on the right, you've got the plain English explanation. See how they're telling the exact same story? The Gherkin version is just as readable, but it has this awesome bonus of being perfectly structured for automated testing. And that's the magic of it, right there. You get one single document that does 2 critical jobs. A business analyst can write it out as a clear requirement, and a tester can use that exact same document to automate tests. It creates one shared source of truth for the entire team. No more he said, she said. Okay, so you're probably getting ready to start writing, but just like any good recipe, there are a few rules you gotta follow to get the best results. So let's quickly cover the do's and don'ts of writing really great Gherkin. First up, the do's. You've got to keep it focused. Each scenario should test one and only one thing. Use the kind of language your business partners would actually use, not a bunch of technical jargon. And this is a big one. Focus on the what, the user's goal, not the how, like the specific buttons they click. That keeps your scenarios from breaking every time the design changes. And now for what to avoid. Please steer clear of vague stuff like, given I have some data, be specific. Don't try to test everything all at once. That just makes things confusing. And definitely avoid mentioning UI details. If that blue button changes to green tomorrow, your scenario shouldn't have to change with it. So, if there's one thing you take away from all of this, let it be this. While Gherkin is fantastic for automating tests, that's almost just a side benefit. Its real power is in communication. It forces everyone to agree on exactly how the software is supposed to work before a single line of code is even written. And that's Gherkin. At its core, it's really just a simple recipe for describing what software should do. But I'll leave you with this question to think about. How could a truly shared language like this completely change the way your team builds things? It's a pretty powerful thought. Thanks for letting us explain it to you.